All right. Hello, Internet. I'm Chaz.
And I'm Dan. Welcome to Wine is Serious Business, episode 297.
Getting up there, almost 300.
Yeah, and we haven't really done any planning for it yet, but we got to get around to it.
Figure it out.
Did killer Pinot Noir this week. John Moser was right. I'm pretty sure that's the highest I've ever scored a wine on the show.
That was a good show.
For those of you who follow that, but those wines were great.
Were wonderful.
And glad to bring you content like that. We're also glad to bring you content like this. Back to Rieslings from Oregon.
Some weird stuff too.
Yeah, kind of a range of things. Two from producers we've had before. One that's brand new to us. Wait, we're gonna start here.
We're gonna start on the Ovum.
We're gonna start with the
Ovum. I mean, normally you'd start with sparkling. That's kind of like the thing, you know. But I think in this case, the sparkling is going to you won't even taste these wines on the palate anymore when you try this sparkling because we pre-taste them, make sure they're not corked.
Yep.
And this has got acid. So
Ovum's definitely one of the coolest things that's going on in Oregon right now, made by John House. This is a labor of love. He works with interesting vineyards all over the state. Super committed to natural winemaking in the cellar. Had numerous conversations with him, and he's like, he's like, sometimes things go south, and that's just the way these things go. But you take good care you take good care in the vineyard, you take good care in the cellar. A lot of this stuff usually turns out good, and 100% of the time, everything he makes is fascinating, interesting stuff. Yeah,
that's true. I've only had interesting wines from Ovum. I would to be honest, there's wines I've had from them that I didn't like.
Yep.
But there has been every single wine that I've had from them has been interesting and different. And when they're delicious, they're delicious. Man. And that putting them on a level where they're also different, it's not what you expect. I just love them. So I always try to check out the Ovum wines, but I have not had this one.
It puts it in a really special place, and is always expressing core truths about Oregon soil. I think, which is it's a great thing to see happening. This is also a new wine to me. I've heard a little bit about it. I think our friend Paul put this on a glass pour list for a little while.
Okay.
From the Meyer Vineyard, the Dundee Hills. We'll read from the label to you.
Yeah, we should have. Typical for
Wine
us.
Serious Business production, but deep water. So I'm excited to check this out. Definitely a little funky on the nose. It reminds me of spontaneous fermentation. Like when I smell this from the Mosel, it suggests spontaneous fermentation. It might be a bit of a leap to make that correlation to what goes on here, but
okay.
I bet it's somewhat involved.
It smells great. It's got sort of, the Granny Smith apple thing is there immediately. The more I shake it up, the more like sort of a little bit of sugar emerges from it, or a little bit of sweetness, reminding me of something like Honeycrisp apple, like a little bit of a sweeter apple. A little bit of citrus notes to it as well.
A little funky on the nose.
But I will agree. Yeah, there's sort of a I don't even know how to classify that aroma. Right? It's not like a lees thing. It's
kind of leesy, a little vegetable.
Maybe a little leesy.
And honestly, if it hadn't been for my my experiences in Germany, I'd be a little down on it. But I've smelled similar things there before, and it always blows off. And a lot of the winemakers even be like, "Oh yeah, it smells like that a little bit now when it's young. That's how it goes. Don't worry about it." So I'm not worried about it, and it reminds me of other wines I've enjoyed. And similar to those experiences, you also can't taste any of that funk either. It's super clean on the palate.
It is. No, it's super easy to drink. Wow.
Yeah.
How much do you think it has any RS? A little bit.
I think it might. What alcohol percent? 10.5. Yeah, 10.5. So yeah,
it's got a little
just
bit.
A touch. Which is kind of where I like it to be. Wow.
Yeah.
The acidity on this is fantastic. It goes through a great evolution from the mid palate, kind of sweeps out into the gums later, ending with this really tart green apple flavor.
Wow. Yeah, it definitely starts off a little like almost juicy, like an apple juicy sort of thing.
Yeah.
But the way the acid kind of comes in the finish is really fun. Like just how Dan described it, it really sort of grips the cheeks late in the finish, leaving with a lot of that like Granny Smith acid, maybe even like edging towards like the Sumatra or the like little cutie oranges, right? It's got like a little bit of that sort of. It's not lemony or limey. It's like a little bit more sweet.
Yeah, a little bit of that ripe apple flesh kind of sitting on the mid palate. Not getting into like the pineapples or like sweet oranges or peaches like German wines will. This is definitely staying in the apple part of the spectrum, and just that good, firm and complex acidity going all the way through.
Not a weighty wine by any means. If it does have some sugar,
no,
it doesn't really add any sort of weight to the palate, which a lot of sweeter Rieslings can. The acid really does a fantastic job in the finish of making this wine super long on the palate. Man, fun to drink. Mm-hmm. I like it. 89-point wine for me. Like it's got some complex notes on the palate. I really like. I agree. The acid on this is just ripping. It's fantastic. Nose a little funk. I didn't see the funk or the sort of vegetal qualities that Dan was talking about. I mean, I see some funkiness, but there's not. It's not distracting.
Sure. And now that I'm drinking more, I actually am getting just a little bit of funk on the palate too, but it doesn't worry me.
Yeah,
I think it detracts a little bit from the experience in the moment. So 88 points for me now. I feel like it'll blow off over time. I also feel like with this structure, I'm gonna pick up another bottle or two, and I'm really interested to see what they taste like after 6 months to a year of sitting.
Yeah, this could age really nicely. 2-3 years down the road. I mean, who knows if they're like what? Who knows what Oregon Riesling will do really when it ages?
And so all of his stuff is small production. So if you see it, pick up a bottle or two to check it out. I don't think everything he makes is for everyone, but I feel like no matter who you are and what you like, some of the stuff that he makes will really float your boat. And definitely pick it up and find those bottles because they're special.
If you can go to a tasting where there's a lot of Ovum wine open, definitely recommend it because just like Dan said, it's not for everyone, right? But there are some wines that are just absolute gems. Yeah. So, all right, next wine. Sorry.
So this is the Jasper Sisco Clara Estelle. Make sure I get this right. This is the 14, right? Yeah, there we go. It's opened up a little bit. It was a little tight right when I popped the cork. Brought this back because we had a little hard time with it in the 13. There was he said he did some intentional oxidation on that, but I bought a 14 when it came out. Thought like, whoa, this is a change of pace. We got to get this on the show and talk about it. He's been growing a lot lately. He's starting his own facility. Starting his own facility up here, and talking to some other people said that he does this Riesling really as a labor of love. That he does good work with his Pinot Noir and things like that, but does this because he cares about it. Which I'm down, right? If you're working hard on making really solid Riesling, I love that. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
And let's talk about the 14. So this is definitely pretty apple driven on the nose. A little bit of citrus there too. And a little touch of oxidation, but it's very light and in the background. Like the fruit's definitely in the foreground here.
Unspiced, unspiced applesauce, big time throw on the nose. Just the really.
I really like that actually.
It reminds me very much of applesauce on the nose. Like there's an oxidative quality to it, but the fruit has still got a really nice, like sort of delicious aroma. But totally apple driven. That is pretty much all I'm getting on the nose.
And I feel that really is an important part of Oregon Riesling. I've had very few that I don't feel apples are the descriptor if I'm tasting wine. That's something I really look for.
Yeah, you feel like a broken record after a while, right? Yeah. But like at the same time, it's just part of the fruit from this region. So.
Touches on the palate, really fresh. And kind of bright and a touch of sweetness. The sweetness here, not quite honey or like white flower honey, like really light honey.
Sure. And this can be felt like this. The sweetness adds a little bit of body here, right? Like whereas the Ovum sort of felt juicy and was just like sort of light with the acid. This has got a little more weight and a little more texture. I think provided by that sugar.
Yeah, and I think the flavors are a little on the brighter side too. I definitely get like some white floral components, and the apples drift more. Flavor-wise, they drift more towards the red apples. I think the green apple acidity and like limey acidity is still prominent. Late, it's not quite as strong as this is, but it still provides a firm structure to the back end.
Yeah, I mean, the applesauce sort of aromas, I think, show through for me, at least on the palate, right? It definitely still has a sort of an applesaucey character. It's not as, the oxidative notes that you could sort of see on the nose are not there on the palate.
Totally not at all.
Which is really kind of fun. It's just really ripe apples. Really good acid, bringing up everything in the finish, and with the sugar, like kind of playing in all of that, tastes really nice. So
it's in a good spot. I think with much less acidity, the sugar would be overwhelming, and likewise, I could see if there was no sugar at all, that the acidity would be pretty strong. So I think it's a good balancing act here.
Yeah,
I think the flavors are pretty enjoyable. The transition between that sweeter front end to the more acidic back end gives you a little bit to think about.
Yeah,
pleasant wine.
Yeah, very pleasant wine. And definitely jump up from the last one, the 13 that we got to try from them. That said, complexity-wise, it's not really all the way there. I mean, it's just a very straightforward, very easy to drink wine with those sort of applesaucy, bright apple flavors. 87 points. It's a really nice wine.
Yeah. 88 for me. I think I'm enjoying a little more complexity on the front end. I think there, and definitely look forward to future vintages, because this was solid stuff. So.
All right. So last wine is a completely new wine for us. The Mellen Meyer.
Mellen Meyer Riesling.
Okay.
Brand new, man. I guess they're making wine at Branday's new facility.
Sparkling Riesling.
So that's new to me, and the little bit I could find online is that they want to focus on sparkling wines there, which.
Are they doing everything, or is it just Riesling?
More than just Riesling from the impression.
Okay.
What else? I couldn't tell you. It puts them in a small community in Oregon that are focused on sparkling, and I think there's definitely room in the market for it. Also exciting that they decided to work with Riesling, and then was it the Carey Creek Vineyard? And
in the Chehalem Mountain AVA.
Yeah, and I just found out that that's where Marcus has gotten some of his Riesling from the Metello, the very rare and hard to find Metello Riesling.
Yeah, good stuff.
But I've had good experiences from that with the past, so I'm excited to see that's getting put to more use.
All right. There's a couple people that make sparkling Riesling here in the valley, right?
A couple, yeah.
But I think it's like over in Columbia Valley.
No, Teutonic's done it.
The Tiveri or something like that.
Yeah, Treveri, they're in Yakima.
Treveri, yeah, Yakima, yeah.
They sparkle almost everything, right? And they're big, but
they make some good stuff.
Yeah, I enjoy some of the wines. Yeah. I don't know if you can smell bubbles, but it's definitely got something about that on the aroma. I don't know if that's
it's that
CO2
sort of
plays with the fruit or how that works out, but
it's that sort of aspirin-y flavor, like sort of like if you crushed up like a fruit Smartie or like a pill or something, and there's that like sort of dusty quality. You get that on some champagnes or some other sparkling wines.
Sure. There you go. I couldn't give that description.
And this has a little bit of that in the nose, but there's definitely sort of a lemony, citrus quality to the nose that reminds me. Well, I would never guess this is sparkling Riesling.
No, Chaz has crushed up a lot more pills than I have.
My mom watches this too.
That one's not going.
No, you can leave it in. You can leave it in. That's what the viewers want to see. I don't know. The nose is like it reminds me of sort of like crushed up Smarties at this point.
It's a little more citrusy, yeah.
I've got that stuck in my
and that apple marker kind of isn't there, so I wouldn't blind this as Riesling. I wouldn't necessarily blind it as Chardonnay either. I'd really struggle if you told me this is just like sparkling white wine from Oregon. I'd say it was white Pinot Noir. That's what I'd say.
If you told me it was sparkling wine from Oregon, I would guess Pinot Gris.
Sure.
Or something along that lines. I would never guess this Riesling.
Yeah, so touch of fruit, but nice nose, right? So nothing really jumping out, but pleasant.
Yeah, pleasant.
Kind of same thing on the palate. Bubbles aren't super aggressive, right? They're just a little bit of bubbles there.
No, you swish it around your mouth, you get a lot of suds.
Oh, really?
Right? Yeah, you put it in your mouth and shake it up. It definitely fills the mouth with suds.
Whoa. Yeah, truth.
But the lemon, the sort of lemon lime citrus thing that I can sort of see on the nose is definitely there on the palate. Maybe a little hint of something appley. I mean,
it's pretty light.
I sort of struggle to find descriptors for this wine because it's literally just a bunch of bubbles, a bunch of acid.
Yeah, the fruit's very much in the background here. Like I'm getting just a touch of the apples, but that
it's fruity, but it's like
and that bubbly flavor you were talking about is definitely kind of in that scent you're talking about that plays through on the palate. Yeah. I'm definitely getting limes and a little bit of lime zest, and the citrus is really full. So it's kind of got a place there. I think
the finish is long too.
Yeah, I think the temptation with a sparkling wine, especially early on, would be to make it a little more sweet and would draw people in that way. I'm kind of happy to see that it didn't go that way.
Yeah, this feels really close to bone dry, or not a lot of RS. It's 12.7 alcohol, so I'm sure you could get Riesling ripe in 2014. So
yeah,
there's
exactly.
a little bit of RS.
But it doesn't taste heavy at all. Stays pretty crisp, and when especially when you swish around like that, the bubbles and the acidity make it pretty full structured wine on the palate.
But not a
little bit of acidity.
Yeah, one thing you see in cheap sparkling wines, for instance, is that the bubbles are super abrasive, or that there is absolutely no flavor.
Sure.
And this isn't that, right? Like this tastes like something with at least a little bit of quality. The fruit is there and present. It's got a little. I mean, the bubbles have at least a little bit of a nice texture to them. Although they are very powerful. Don't rinse it around your mouth strongly. And I like how long it hangs out in the finish. A lot of acid, lingering, a little bit of sweetness. It reminds me. I keep coming back to this, but it reminds me of the freaking chalky Smartie candies.
Sure. Yeah. Why not?
Over and over and over.
Alignment, run with it,
I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing here. It's really fun and easy to drink. Just doesn't provide a lot of complexity. So like 85 points for me.
Sure. 86 for me. Straightforward, simple, but for people new to the game, I think that's all right. I think a lot of people's first efforts usually have got kind of some more negative things to say about it, especially with Riesling. I think people struggle with that right out of the gate, with a few rare exceptions. So I think it's a nice start. I'm definitely interested in trying more. I think it's a cool project doing the sparkling wine. So keep your eye open for it. I'm sure you'll see more.
And this is good and fun to drink. Honestly,
totally.
Like it will get finished.
Yep. And if it was open at a party, whatever, or I'd order a glass of it. Yeah. If I was out, I would totally order a glass of it. So.
That's
nice
it.
Stuff. That's the show.
Yeah, that's the show.
3 wines. Wrapping these up. Question of the day.
Question of the day.
I don't even know.
Riesling. Yeah. Sammy's. You just went to the coast.
I
just put a new video card in my computer. What's
favorite?
All kinds of shit.
What's your favorite place on the Oregon coast? This is good.
Oh.
And
Yes.
not like your top favorite place that everybody loves. Like somewhere, like kind of maybe a little more of a niche that not everybody's seen that you should go see.
Yes. There are little coves, little state parks, little beaches, all the way up and down the Oregon coast. What's your favorite?
Go do yours. I was just there.
So Shore Acres in north or just south of North Bend. It's like on this like sort of peninsula thing. Like, what do you call it, a peninsula? I don't know. It's a piece of land that just juts out, goes in the coast, and kind of goes south. There's a bay just south of it even. But Shore Acres is just. I went there a lot when I was a kid. If you haven't been to Shore Acres, you're definitely, if you love the Oregon coast, it's just got some of the neatest rock formations, some of the best storm watching, and some very, very fun trails that have a lot of hidden trails off the side of them that like lead out to really like interesting hidden picnic areas. It's one of those places that you have to check out if you're an Oregonian or love Oregon. And
I've been really loving Netarts Bay lately, so people know kind of about Netarts as more of a tourist area. But it's got the Bay Ocean Peninsula on one side. You can kind of get out on the bay on low tide pretty easily in other parts of it. Sunsets over there are just magnificent. Not a ton of wildlife, but a good amount of it where I always see some stuff when I'm out there. I've just been loving it. Go do the Bay Ocean Peninsula hike sometime, or go wait till like low tide. Like I've been out digging clams. That's kind of what's brought me out there.
Nice.
But even if I wasn't, if you just walk around kind of on the flats where it's a little more rocky and not so muddy at low tide, like it's fun. The water's clear. It's a beautiful spot. So that's my tip. I want to hear your favorite spots.
Yeah, I do too. I lived in Oregon my entire life, but there's so much diversity on the Oregon coast that you can't really. I don't know all of it, so incredible. Love to hear from you guys. We'll see you guys next time.